What is up, guys? Welcome to another MK Mobile video. This video is going to be very special because for some of you probably who don't know, a couple of weeks ago 4 people were chosen to be the community ambassadors for MK Mobile, the Realm Warriors. Those 4 people are Manwithnogame45, Legendas, Game Time Gaming, and myself. So at the end of the day, this is the first time when we gathered together because we wanted to talk about the Crypt, the newest game mode in the game, the state of the game in general, and in the end of the video we'll be also covering the ambassadors, actually the Realm Warrior program. So this is going to be a really interesting podcast. Another thing that's worth mentioning is that since Legends was talking in Russian, for this particular part of the podcast, we will just show, or let's say we will just air the translated version. So if you're hearing a person speaking, this is actually Legendas, but it is the translator who is translating to us what Legendas just said. This is worth mentioning. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into the video. Enjoy. There's a couple of things about the Crypt. First thing first, it is really great to have it in the first place. I need to say that because it's important. The game desperately needed a new game mode. It was getting too obsolete with faction wars that is extremely outdated and needs to be reworked. And more or less the only viable game mode being towers, which getting really repetitive, especially if it's an elder tower, you do it more than twice. Every single attempt after the second one is getting too boring for me. So the Crypt was a pretty breath of fresh air. On top of everything, it actually allows you to buy the diamond that you need. So no more gambling, no more packs, chances. You just need to grind for that many hours and then you can buy the diamond, which is awesome. Unfortunately, you can buy just one copy, but it is what it is. I mean, after all, that's amazing. And on top of everything, we also can get goats that are in no packs for souls. For instance, Lizard Baraka. So all in all, the Crypt is incredible when it comes to those advantages. The disadvantages, though, I need to mention what it could be improved. First thing first, this game mode is a little bit boring. I have to admit, it's super boring, and I did it like 10 times, and more or less I'm done. I will do it next time on my main account when there is a diamond that I don't have. But grinding it just for the sake to get a random drop of an epic or a blue piece, for certain players that would be fine, but I just don't think that's worth because I already have a lot of good gear on my main account. Probably I'll grind it on my beginner account. Still, the biggest issue is that the battles are really long. And what could possibly be done here is to remove the fog of war. So once you enter the specific floor, you see everything with all the routes that you can take. And then you select the one that is shorter or the one that has the least fighting, you name it. But at the end of the day, just wandering without knowing where you're going takes a lot of time. And that's the most boring part of it, in my opinion. So I'll be happy if they fix it. So at the end of the day, I would rate this mode like an 8.5 out of 10, with the biggest problem it's being kind of boring. That's the biggest issue. However, it will fix a lot of problems for veterans that, for instance, require one copy of this character, or for veterans who don't have that character unlocked. They can go to the Crypt farm and get this particular character. Also, you can farm friendship gear and brutality gear, which is awesome. Again, I don't know how much time it's going to take you to max out the epic piece, but judging from the drops that I had from rare pieces, probably if you farm the Crypt really hard for a week, you might have a chance to max out the blue piece, which is pretty awesome. And the last thing that I need to figure out, probably we're going to all find out in the end of the week once this season of the Crypt ends, is what is the conversion rate between the hearts and the keys. So in other words, let's say that I have 10,000 hearts that I farmed in the Crypt, but because I have everything maxed out, I don't have to use them for anything. I just farm it and they stay there and don't do anything. So after the Crypt season ends, are they going to get transferred, or let's say transformed into keys? And what is the conversion rate? It is 1 to 1,000? It is 1 to 2,000?
I'll tell you.
Words.
It's
Okay.
actually in the app if you look closely. It's 5,000 hearts for one key.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Okay, I didn't know that. So that's okay, that's fair. So if you grind really hard, you can, let's say, get 5-6 keys, and you can use them on some other season when you don't have specific characters, so that you can farm the Crypt as fast as possible to unlock the character and then just let it be. And more or less that's it. This is my thoughts on the Crypt. It is awesome finally to have a good game mode. The negatives it's a little bit boring. If they remove the fog of war, it's going to be better. And I hope that the next game mode that will come after the crypt will be more focused not on grinding diamonds because you already got the crypt, but it's going to be more focused on actual fighting, like another mode apart from faction wars and survival and towers that will be fighting based. Let's go that way.
Okay, he's saying he's very excited about this mod. He see this mod as a hybrid of two modes, tower mode and survival mode, and pretty much everything what he didn't like about survival mode, which is like broken equipment and ability to like make to make alive killed characters. It's over here, and that's was what he mostly liked, and he would like if it's gonna be the change the same things in the survival mode, because in this case people will probably use that like will buy that survival things for resurrection things to resurrect characters, and as well as they will feel equipment they got equipment they got in the towers or somewhere like really valuable, and it is possible to reuse it instead of just use it once. Major things what he think is not attractive in the survival mode. He wants to spend, like, whenever you spend time, you would have like he wants to get the most effective spend it, like the same as in crypt. If you will spend a lot of time to decrypt, you will get guarantee results, and that's what he think like not very attractive in that survival mode, because whenever you're working and you get in the you're achieving the specific rank, but if somebody else achieve better results, you could be kicked out from that rank to the to below rank. And he thinks if they will set specific points which you achieve, and you, like you're supposed to get that specific points to achieve specific rank, and not really making that competition between people, because he believes it is not so attractive for the like some like most of the people not really even spend time to it, because they could spend a lot of time, but if somebody else have like even more free time, they will be able to beat them and kick off from that chat like down. And that's why like a lot of people just not even wasting their time, because they like it's not guarantee for them, like they can waste a lot of time and still not be rewarded. That's why he believes if you like spend a lot of time but you will get guarantee results the same as in crypt, it's gonna like really attract attention to the and refresh survival mode as well. It that way could be improved and made better.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, this is the major point, I believe he says.
Yeah, those are good points. 45, do you want to give your review real quick?
Sure. I just want to say that with the crypt, more than anything, we need to be aware of the major paradigm shift we're seeing in the game. Previously, we could not choose the rewards that we wanted. We didn't even have access to many of these brand new cards for weeks, months. And in this case, that's one of the coolest things about the crypt. We get to select our rewards. They're available immediately. Also, I think a lot of people do think the crypt mode is a bit boring. I think as a veteran player, it's not quite challenging enough for the characters, the gear, the skill level that I have. But what I want to remind everyone of is we experienced this once before with the Tower of Horror. And when that first came out, it was not the most challenging game mode for us. It didn't, have everything we wanted in it in terms of a game mode. So rather than think of this just as the crypt, I think of it as kind of the proto crypt. It's the first iteration of this game mode that we're seeing. I'm really excited about it. I think things that they need to add to it to make it more like the traditional Mortal Kombat crypts, there should be feats of strength. We should be finding banners, icons, individual, victory stances, things like that. If they sprinkled that into the crypt and made them random drops, people get a lot more satisfaction from this mode. I also think we need random encounters of some kind. How cool would it be if, let's say on the final floor, you knew that Moloch or, some massively overpowered boss was just kind of randomly going to attack you at some point between modes, and your screen, went red or something, and all of a sudden you're in this fight with Moloch, and he literally would kick your ass for most people. And just imagine if you had something like that going down, how much more exciting it would make that mode, and you'd be like hoping that you could make it, to the boss fight before you run into this guy, or maybe you'd be excited to run into him because if you beat him, there was some massive reward in terms of heart or in terms of unique gear that's only available with this character. So I think there's a lot of stuff that they can do with this mode. We're just seeing what they were able to come up with in the amount of time that they've developed it and had it ready to release for us. So I think there's a lot of promise for this for the future. But more than anything, I want people just to focus on what this means for the game, that we're able to actually grind to get what we want. And yes, we can only get one copy, but that's in the week that the event is here. You're going to have to grind like hell to get everything out of the store. And I can attest to that because, like Man said, I did about 10 runs and I'm kind of done for at least this week. But I'm still going to see it through because I want to get Edenian Blood Katana, and then knowing I can grind keys for future crypts, I think it's going to be one of these things where you'll decide if you really want to use keys on a crypt based on the rewards that are available to you. But very excited about this game mode and more excited about what it means for Mortal Kombat Mobile overall.
Yeah, definitely. I'll kind of give my take on it here, but I totally agree with Man. And Man, you've been saying for a long time the game needed a different mode. We finally got it. We were kind of used to seeing tower after tower, so we expected what kind of mode we were going to see in the next update. So it was really nice to see this come along. And Legendas, I love the analogy between like a hybrid between Survivor and Tower mode. That was really good. And I agree with you. It does lack like the competitiveness aspect. So maybe somewhere down the road they might change it into like a crypt / raid where you team up with other players to take on the crypt or something to that effect. But like kind of like we were referring to 45, you might run across a bigger, badder boss with a group of people or something to that effect. But overall, I like it so far. I'm not quite bored yet. I can see why some people might be, but I really enjoy it. I like the fact that everyone's experience is different in the crypt as far as the design and the layout. I like the overall feeling it gives you. So I do kind of like the fog part, but that's just because it adds to that atmosphere. Store seems really good so far. We've wanted a store back for a long time, ever since 2.0, and this is maybe the start of a newer looking store. It's maybe a pseudo store, but we do have something back in the form of a store, I guess. with some pretty good characters and equipment in it, in my opinion. Drops haven't been too bad lately. Plenty of consumables. I did get a rare drop as well, and I've seen a lot of comments on Twitter about a lot of epics dropping as well. So that's good to know that those are a possibility in there. So I would say I really like it. One thing I would like to see is possibly if you could either exchange your hearts for keys or possibly roll them over. That might be an option down the road too. But other than that, I like it. The only negative I can see so far are there is some crashing issues happening, which I've actually experienced myself. But other than that, pretty good so far.
I think what the community needs to know about Realm Warriors is it's something that we've been working on for months. It really didn't happen just overnight. Even before then, it was something that the game and the team behind it wanted to get involved. They wanted to have the top content creators and influencers in the Mortal Kombat mobile community involved in directly giving them feedback so that they could make the game better. For me, this was actually what kept me from leaving the game because I had put in a deletion request and the game blocked my deletion request, or actually some folks on the team reached out and told support not to put my deletion request through and reached out to me and scheduled a call. And that's when I first heard about the program and heard about their intention and what they're trying to do to make the game better. So I think it's an amazing thing overall. I really couldn't believe it when it happened in the first place that I actually got a DM from official. It's the only thing that could have changed my mind about deleting the game at that time. And having the understanding that they're actually actively trying to make things better, they're willing to listen to the community, and that there's going to be a collaborative effort made between the development team and the players of the game to make the game better for everyone. I mean, to me, it shows a lot about where their mind is at this point and their intentions for the future of the game. So I was very excited to hear that. I'm very pleased to be a part of this program. I think what people also need to understand is we're there in a capacity where we're giving feedback. We want to share what the concerns of the community are, but really our function is to serve as ambassadors of the community to the game. So we're not tech support per se, but if we have big issues like open fail, bugs that affect everyone in the community, that's where we're going to be very active in providing feedback to the team. And more than anything, what we want are suggestions that can actually improve the game for everyone. That's the key function that we're serving. We're the bridge between the community and the development team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm going to have to echo everything you just said pretty much, but I'm really excited to be a part of it. Couldn't be happier with the group of guys that got included with it. I'm just excited to see where it goes. And it is nice to have that link, like you said, 45, between the players and the business, MK Mobile. So yeah, just excited to see where it goes.
I really like it. I wasn't expecting it, to be honest, at all. But this one, if we also agree that there's so many other things that happened to the game lately, let me say positive things. Lately, I just got, by the way, classic movie Sonya without paying anything in a pack. And this pack was released before any pack for money was released. Actually, simultaneous, let's go that way, which is a major W. I mean, especially considering the course that the game was taking the last 2 years, it was getting worse and worse and worse. And suddenly, with every update, it's getting better and better and better. And the whole thing with the Realm Warrior program was another proof that the direction the game is taking is very good. Also, not only in the sense that they are improving the game, but generally they're saying, okay, we know what we're going to listen to the audience, what the audience has to say, and we're going to tread accordingly. So that's very important. In my opinion, that's really important. The community should know that the people behind the game are listening and know what the community wants. So I hope that in the future we're going to get much more, let's say, events with this particular program. I don't know in what shape, what way, but there are so many other games that have different programs with content creators. For instance, League of Legends. If you have played League of Legends, even though it's much bigger game, much bigger audience, but they had something like a support program. So if you log into League of Legends, you can support certain content creator by just accepting something like a title or something like this. But at the end of the day, I believe this can be improved further than what we currently have. And I'm pretty proud to be part of it because I tried really hard to get in touch with anybody actually from Warner Brothers, from NetherRealm Studios. And all I got was email exchange with Let Nowhere. It was type of email exchange. You know what? We're going to do it, but not today. We're going to get in touch with you. And then nobody gets in touch with me for 1 year, just going to chase. So what happened? Oh yeah, but we had this and this and this. I'm going to get in touch with you very soon. And then at the end of the day, nothing happened. So I lost all hope, and now all hope is back. So it's pretty cool. I actually definitely enjoyed it. It was a breath of fresh air for me.
Perfect.